Thank you for watching Fighter Unhinged. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. He's a Bay Area native fighting out of Dragonhouse MMA in San Francisco, California. Currently 10-1, and he just main evented URCC's Rumble in the Bay. He is the new URCC Bantamweight champion. Please welcome Brady Huang. Brady, thank you so much for joining me today, man.
Thank you, Vic.
Appreciate your time. Yeah, I kind of want to just jump straight into talking about your past fight because that's how we kind of got connected and met. You just captured gold, lightning fast submission victory in the first round against a very game opponent too. Now, what was your game plan going into that fight?
My game plan was just to kind of use his aggression against him. You know, I knew he was a brawler. I knew he was a tough cat, so I kind of wanted to look for my openings to finish the fight. That's always been my style. I like to go for the finish, and I don't want to fight 3 rounds. And this was the main event. I know everyone was trying to go home, so just was looking for the finish. So yeah, wherever it came, knockout, TKO, submission. In this case, that's what it was. So yeah, it worked out for me.
Yeah. So first round triangle. I mean, I just looked at your record in past fights. You have a lot of TKOs, a lot of submission victories, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a preference in terms of like how you like to finish a fight? Do you prefer to grapple? Do you prefer to?
I love the beauty of the submission, but I also love like the violence of a good knockout, a good TKO sometimes. So I feel like sometimes it depends on my mood and like how I feel in the fight, and sometimes it might switch up of how I feel as I'm feeling my opponent out, or if I feel the energy from the crowd and want to kind of maybe put a little risk forward to go for a submission or go for a finish, then I kind of feel it out from there in the fight.
Okay, cool. And then I noticed that throughout your 10-1 record, your progression of calmness and like patience has kind of like improved as you've gone along. Now, like, what would you kind of credit that to?
That's a great question. I gotta credit that to just all that experience in the cage. I appreciate you know, telling me I look calm, but leading up to the fight, I get really nervous. You know, just like anyone else. But once it gets fight time, I know my body's gonna realize it's time to do work. And all the nerves, all the fear, put that aside, put on a good performance. So all the experience I've had, I had over 15 amateur fights. And all of that kind of helped my growth going into my professional career, dealing with nerves, kind of knowing what techniques I like to look for in the fights. But man, that experience was crucial because I realized, you know what, you're gonna get nervous, you're gonna get scared going into a fight is natural, but at least you can kind of use that as feel. So once I am in the fight, I look calm because I've already been through it before. And I know, you know, it's time to take care of business.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you definitely don't show any type of like emotions when you're in there. It's pretty impressive. It really reminds me of kind of a DJ. Like Demetrius Johnson in there. And I mean, I think your fight style really kind of mimics that too. Like,
thank you.
All around game, you know, you're able to take them down. Transitions on the ground. Very slick. So
and that's an honor too, because he's one of my favorite fighters. I watched him since his first fight in WEC. I think it was against Brad Pickett. So appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I know you mentioned before that you find motivation in looking back through like tough times. Now, you know, last year you had your first defeat in your pro career. Something I kind of want to get some feedback on, just for either the people watching that are into MMA, but some people that may not be watching MMA. Like, how are you able to overcome kind of that time in your career, and also what advice would you have for people watching when it comes to facing that level of adversity?
Man, how much time do you have? You know? But well, that was a really tough time. I had lost before, and looking back on it, I've lost and failed so many things in life, and that was just another, you know, bad moment. And we all have bad moments. And looking back on it, it's like, man, like, why did I put so much thought and care into it when I know that failure is part of, growing and moving forward. But if I could kind of go back into that moment, I remember after the fight just feeling devastated. Like I'll never forget that fight was just, no excuses. I lost. My opponent fought better than me and taught me a lesson that, specifically speaking about my fighting style, I think, I fight, as you say, like I kind of go for the finish, and I feel like how they say you live and die by the sword. I feel like I live and die by my fighting style. So if I go for the finish, and if it's there, great. Everyone's saying that's a great performance. You finished the fight. Right. But if I don't, and some guys are not going to get finished, then it's like, well, kind of the cardio aspect becomes a factor. Sure. And I think a lot of people see that my fighting style is very from the gate, like I go for the finish. And I think they realize that if they kind of stretch out the fight, that maybe it'll be more in their favor.
Kind of took that chance.
Yeah, and like so in that fight, I think that kind of exposed that part of me. So I kind of had to take a step back and realize, like, man, you know what? I gotta calm down in my fights. Like, I might not be able to finish everybody. So that just made me think, like, okay, like it's just a learning lesson. Yeah. Just like, all the basketball games I lost growing up, baseball, races, back to where we are now fighting. It was just another loss, another learning experience. But looking back on it, I would have to say it was very necessary as part of my development, not just as a fighter, as a man.
I mean, that's a bold thing to kind of
put
out there. So.
Yeah. Okay. And it was tough because I think a lot of people expected me to win. Yeah. And when you're expected to do something and you fail on that, it's like even more disappointing, right? So if I could give any advice to anyone in that position, I would definitely say, these bad moments are going to come. For fighters specifically, we put so much on the line. It's almost like do or die every fight. Right. So if you win, appreciate it and, smell the roses along the way. But if you lose, just know, you got to keep your eyes on the road, and it's, it's part of the journey, but ultimately you're going to grow from it. Yeah. So,
I mean, you bounce back pretty quickly from it too. So that's great.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, as champion, what do you have lined up? Do you have any fights coming up, or?
Yeah, so we're in the talks right now. I know the next URCC fight will be, but kind of an announcement right now. Right. It's going to be in June. Okay. Cal Palace is locked in again. Cool. And that would be great if I get to defend my belt in my hometown as well. Cal Palace is an amazing venue. That'd be awesome. If something comes up where legally and the opportunity is there, then I'm down to fight. But as far as right now, I'm just enjoying life and enjoying spending time with my friends and family. Yeah.
Are you contractually obligated to like only fight at URCC right now, or is it still like you still kind of
something around? Similar to that?
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to see you defend again. Was it your first time fighting in Cal Palace?
First time, which was awesome because that arena was.
There's a lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was an honor.
It was It was my first time watching URCC event, and they had the production quality and stuff. Like they had it pretty top notch.
Oh yeah.
It felt like I was at a UFC event, which is like crazy that they were able to pull that off.
Oh yeah.
It's great that you're going to be representing them in that manner too.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Now, I know you mentioned to me you recently moved down to LA. Mm-hmm. So tell me what you're working on down there. Like what brings you down there?
Yeah. So I moved to LA. Man, working on a lot of things. I've been getting into acting. Okay. I've been enjoying the weather. It's real sunny down there right now.
Hot too.
Yeah. And it was a huge part of a transition in my life to kind of pursue something bigger than what I've been pursuing in the past. Okay. So with fighting, I'm still training. When I'm in LA, I train at Blackhouse MMA. That's in Gardena, California, which is in that area. But man, I've been getting a lot into acting. I have an agent out there. She's been sending me out for auditions. I've been learning. I've been taking classes on acting. It's something that I've been doing for a few years. But being in Los Angeles provides a lot of opportunities for me. So I'm taking it really seriously while I'm out there. Still taking my fighting career really seriously as well. But it's just something I wanted to kind of pursue.
Yeah.
And I know I'm capable of doing many things at once. You know, when I was younger, you know, in high school, you know, being in school and fighting, or being a student athlete, or working full time and training full time, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something that I know that it's gonna work out for me, because I'm better working on multiple projects rather than just kind of chilling and just,
I totally
you know,
can
doing
understand that.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So that's just how I operate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been working out.
In terms of, you know, growing up in Bay Area, what kind of like led you to choose these kind of paths? You know, like more less office-based stuff and more like out in the field? Is it just something that's your character? Or?
Yeah, well, a lot of things. You know, I played a lot of sports growing up. Never was the best athlete, but you know, I played different sports that kind of led me to fighting. Other factors as well, you know, being bullied growing up and wanting to learn self-defense, that also got me into MMA. And when I started, it was just it was a great opportunity for me to grow as a young man. I was surrounded by a lot of wiser, older gentlemen that kind of helped lead me into a path of like being the man I am today. You know, not just through fighting, but just talking to me before and after training sessions and stuff like that. So I think that was a huge part of shaping me on how I ended up becoming the person I am today. So I think fighting is very special to me, because it helped me find my confidence, my maturity as well. You know, and other aspects of life, such as little things like how to handle being a businessman. You know, like dealing with fights, or how to handle you know, accepting failure, and you know, moving forward. And you know, even though something bad happens, you know, you make it a positive and turn it around. So I think fighting was a huge part of my life growing up, and helping me become the man that I am today. So
now, what has the experience been like in seeking opportunities as an Asian American, like in those kind of industries, like with acting and stuff like that? Like, are there challenges that you feel like you have to face? Or?
For acting, or for
both?
For for both. Well, for fighting, it's funny because there weren't that many Asian fighters, right? Like very few. Now it's becoming very popular. But man, I remember, you know, I dealt with racism in this sport for sure. You know, had jokes, you know, been called different names and stuff that I don't need to repeat. And
you shut them all up now.
Yeah. But you know, it's okay. I feel like it's just everyone has their own journey. You know, maybe if I wasn't bullied or given a hard time so much, maybe I wouldn't have grown to be as tough as I am today. So it's tough. Like as far as acting goes, you know, I'm not the typical, you know, icy blue eyes type of
Brad Pitt.
Right. But you know, I bring something else to the table with my my Asian roots and culture. Sometimes certain agents or casting directors are looking for that type of look, and my fighting background helps with that as well. So it gives me a chance to kind of represent Asians in media as far as acting and for fighting. So for fighting, you know, I'm proud to represent every time. I used to come out to this China jacket that I would wear proudly. It's somewhere in my parents' house. But yeah, man. So it's a huge part of my background in fighting. You know, being proud of that culture and representing.
I mean, I think that's very important, and like I appreciate what you're doing to like help represent that, because I feel like it's still a small community that hasn't had all the exposure yet. Like,
and it's growing, man, and I think it's gonna continue to grow with fighters like myself, and man, a lot of younger fighters coming up on the scene. It's gonna be even bigger for Asian MMA fighters.
Yeah, definitely. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, your career choices and career paths aren't very common in the Asian American community, as we're talking about now.
Yeah.
What has the feedback and support been like among your family, your friends, or your fans?
Yeah. Well, my dad actually is proud of me just for pursuing my dreams. He knows it's not easy to go out to LA on your own and
Take
shoot
that
your
chance.
shot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, but I graduated college and had like a corporate job and all that stuff. It just didn't fit me well. So fighting has always been there for me, and it's always something that I was passionate about. It's not something that I would consider a hobby, but something that was very meaningful to me in terms of it was kind of my identity and something that I always turn back to. And as far as acting goes, which is another ambition of mine currently, it's uh, it's a chance for me to represent my family, and so they see that I'm working my butt off, and they're happy with that.
Yeah, so you're not out there, messing around. Like, you're taking
Yeah,
it seriously.
exactly.
So, okay.
And my work ethic, I tell people I work hard, but a lot of people don't really know what I mean by that. It's not necessary. Like I go, show up, and work hard, but whatever things I have going on, I'm gonna make sure I don't half-ass anything.
Right.
And if there's something that I have to prioritize, I'll do that. If there's another thing, I'll prioritize it as well. Nothing's gonna get left behind. So as far as all these ambitions of mine, even when I was in college, I was always making sure that I was taking care of my business. No excuses. Didn't show up to class saying, "Oh, like I don't have my homework because I had a fight or whatever." Take care of your business. No excuses, and that's how it should be. So, yeah.
And then also your friends and I'm assuming fans, you have a lot of support from those areas too.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any fans. I wouldn't necessarily call them fans, but yeah, they're all proud of me because they seen how far I've come and just to be the man I am today. A lot of them talk to me like, "Oh man, like I remember back in the day when you were first starting, and look at you still doing it now." And I'm sure they would be proud of me even if I wasn't an MMA fighter or pursuing all this, even if I was just doing my best as a teacher or I don't know, a police officer or something. I know they'd be proud of me. It's just I chose something that I wanted to pursue, and doing my best. So
this is the result, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you definitely tell that you put 100% into whatever you put your mind to. So, I mean, and something I totally agree with as well, because there's this saying that kind of stuck with me, where it's like, if you put in 98%, that's the same as 0%. Like it's either 100% or nothing. So like, and it seems like you really like kind of harness that, because it's these type of things where you're doing like MMA or doing like acting, like if you're not all in on those things, like it's not easy to be successful. So
that's real. Yeah, exactly. So
cool. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking time to come out. Congratulations on your win again. Look forward to seeing your next fight in June, hopefully. I want to give you a chance to give a shout out to your sponsors or and give them your social media.
Sure.
So I'll give you the floor.
For sure, man. So you can find me on Instagram at Brady Huang, just my name, at Brady Huang. Got to give a shout out to my sponsors. So many people to thank. And I call them sponsors, but a lot of them are just good friends, family members of mine, supporters. I got to thank Rob Whitlock of TWT, the Whitlock team, aka the Guamanian Taz. He's done so much for me. Leading up to his last fight, taking care of me, helping me with shirts and my fight shorts, so I didn't have to worry about a thing. And he's like a brother to me. So thank you. MMA Raw. He's the best photographer in the fight scene. Octavio Castro, that's his name. He's the guy behind the camera. Does a lot of great work. So big shout out to MMA Raw. Gotta thank Liquid Nitro Energy Drink. Healthy energy drinks, good for energy and relaxation. The guy has been supporting me since I was in high school, man. His name's Henry, so he's believed in me back then, and still rocking with me, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Gotta shout out Graps. Graps is a really cool new product. It's like a alternative to taping up your fingers,
Okay.
and it's just a very efficient way to help you prevent injuries to your hand. The guy behind this product, his name is Johnny Kowalski. He's actually a high level grappler himself, so he's been helping me and Graps. If you just go on the website getgraps.com, Graps is spelled GRAPPZ. You could find it.
Cool.
What else? Gotta thank. Also thank Ezeki Shield, NorCal Fight Shop, MMA Most Wanted, and Young Simba. You know, so many people to thank. All my friends and family, all the guys at Dragonhouse, all the guys at Blackhouse, everyone that's believed in me. You know, when I was up, when I was down.
Yeah. Sweet. Awesome. Yeah. Make sure you guys follow him on social media. It's important for you guys to support Brady, support my channel as well. Thank you so much for taking time out again, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll do this again.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks,
Thank you.
Brady.